Hi guys, I hope you're all doing well. I am going to bust the most top 3 ridiculous nutritional myths that I come across, and I really need you to hear me out before you have an opinion on this one. A quick disclaimer, for a lot of people these myths can be true given they have some kind of metabolic syndrome, diabetes, type 1, type 2, kidney issues. It's not for them, it's for people like you and me and for average people. And just for us to understand the logic behind what we are doing, I think it's very important that you understand what you are doing, and that in a way empowers you when you understand your own body and you can listen to your own signals and you act accordingly, and not because you saw Ankita saying something or you saw some random person saying something on social media and then you follow it. I'm not saying Ankita is wrong or that person is wrong or someone who has written a book on this is wrong. No one is wrong. Everyone is trying their best in the best of their capacity and knowledge and resources to help educate people around them. But at the end of the day, it's up to you. What do you pick? What do you not pick? What serves you and what doesn't serve you? So even when I am studying nutrition, I'm still looking into people and podcasts and resources and books. So even I have to filter things for myself, and I have a good place where I can actually work with the patient, I work with the client, I see the results. So no one can tell me and say that gluten and wheat is great for diabetics, because I have people where we reverse type 2 diabetes and I am yet to see them working on having a reversible with wheat in their diet. So I kind of work with logic, knowledge, common sense, information, using my own mind and not just, being flown away or gone with the wind and just going with the sea and only just, going with what the flow is going towards. I always like to bring it back to simplicity. Think about it, think about the logic, the basics, and then see if it serves you. Okay? A quick disclaimer, that was not quick, but that was a disclaimer. Anyway, first myth: eat every 2 hours. You cannot say that you have not heard it, because I know you have. I did. Okay, when I started, the first thing that I was put on was, Ankita, eat every 2 to 3 hours. Now just imagine the kind of world that we come from and the kind of place that we come from. Do you really think a caveman used to wake up and used to eat breakfast, then he used to have his morning tea, then he used to have his say snacks or lunch, and then evening tea and snacks, and then dinner, and then maybe a dessert? We were not that privileged. We are so lucky and we are living such a lavish and luxurious life. This was not the same case 100 years ago, 50 years ago, or even like 50, 70 years ago. We were not living in a place or a world like this. Okay, you have to know that at one point there were TV commercials that used to say that cigarette is good for your health, you have to take it. I will post an image if I can, but like on my IG, and there used to be posters where they used to have pregnant mother on the front line, like on the cover, and they used to promote cigarettes. I think NACO or some brand, something was there. And you have to know that science and research, it's constantly evolving, it's constantly changing, it's not static, nothing is written in stone. And for everything that you do and for everything that you eat right now, you can find something against it. You can find something against blue light blocking filter glasses, you can find something against apples, you can find something against protein shakes, you can find something for protein shakes. I read a ridiculous blog post, I will put its link down below, that said that there are positives to being overweight. Can you imagine? There is no positive to being overweight. Again, this is not to de-shame or defame people who are overweight, but you have to know that we must treat a condition, and just awareing and saying that being overweight is healthy and science has proven it, it doesn't make sense. You have to think for yourself. If you weigh 130-40 kilos, what would be the quality of your life? You just have to think about it. How can that be positive? Okay, and along with that, you have issues inside of your body. It takes a toll on your organs. There is so much of inflammation, you can't think correctly, you can't move. What is the quality of life? So again, you need to decide, what do you mean when you say I want to live a long life? Do you want to be healthy and live long, or do you want to be bedridden and live a long life? Because it can be either way. So again, it's very important for us to put our logic to use. When you eat every 2 hours, you always trigger a hormone known as insulin, one of the many hormones. Okay, every time, okay, your pancreas will produce insulin, it will come, it will go to the bloodstream, and it will balance your blood sugar levels, which is great. I need it, my body needs it, but it cannot happen all day. So understand, let's say you have a house of your own and you hire a maid. Okay, आप maid को बोलते हो कि आपको morning में you have to do the brooming and sweeping, and then शाम को you have to do the utensils, and that's about it. So the maid knows that I need to work twice or thrice in a day. Now, when the maid is at your home, you start asking her to do, oh no, clean the tables, clean the sofa, do the bed sheet, fold the clothes and wash the clothes and XYZ. You put 100 of more work. Now, maid is the insulin and the work is the amount of food that you eat. Insulin or your maid is not supposed to work this much. It's not supposed to work so much. You chronically put stress on insulin when you eat every 2 to 3 hours, because your body likes to be in balance. It has to maintain your 80 to 100 mg per dl blood sugar levels. And how does it do it? It needs insulin to do it. That is why you will not get insulin malfunction or type 2 diabetes with eating every 2 hours for 5 years. You will get it 10 years down the line, 20 years down the line, 30 years down the line. Okay, because it is very cumulative in nature. Your pancreas will produce insulin until one time it cannot do it, and then you need to be dependent on a medication. It is so normal for us to see how quickly type 2 diabetes goes to type 1 diabetes, where the body loses the capacity to produce insulin, and then we have also case where we get type 1 from injecting insulin to metformin again, and it works. So that just goes to say that, like, I have personally done it. I'm not saying I have read about it. I am saying I have done it, where we had a type 1 diabetes case. She went into type 1 not because of just autoimmunity, but because she was type 2 for 22 years, I'm not sure, and then she went into type 1 and now she is type 2 again. So I have seen it happening. I see the body changing, and that is why I sit here and speak to you, and I just want you to know that you can prevent it, so that you don't have to be at a stage of being at type 2, type 1 by following some shitty nutritional advice that asks you to eat every 2 hours. You're not supposed to eat every 2 hours, okay? And for most of us, including me, I don't think we understand what hunger is, okay? We don't know what hunger is. We are so blessed to have the availability, the kind of food that we have the tiniest amount of leptin, ghrelin up and down, and we are like, oh, okay, I'm hungry, I have to eat. We are thirsty. We cannot even differentiate between what is hunger and what is thirst. For most people, they are thirsty, they end up eating. They are thirsty, they end up drinking sodas and colas and everything, okay? That depletes your body with the kind of things that it needs. So eating every 2 hours, it doesn't work. We have to know what hunger is, and that is where the fasting comes in. Fasting, again, eating sabudana vada, sabudana khichdi, and chevra and fruits, that's not fasting. You are not fasting. Fasting means abstinence of food and water. If you want to eat all of these things, eat it. No one is asking you to not eat it, but don't do it under the name of fasting, because it's not working, and that's not what a fast is supposed to be, okay? To quickly touch upon fruits, I've already spoken about this. The fruits that we eat right now, and the the local fruit that we get right now, it is modern fructose. Okay, so fructose is basically your equal parts of glucose and sucrose, but you have to understand fructose has to be metabolized by liver 70%, 30% is done by the kidney, and no other cell can do it. It's a lot of work for your sweet little organ liver, which has over 500 functions, and you can't just let it deal with fructose thrice or 4 times in a day, coupled with poor lifestyle, poor stress, and absolutely no path of detoxification. And on top of it, people are acidic, constipated, bloated, and then they say, oh, I'm on a fruit diet, or I'm on a fruit juice diet, I'm on a detox diet. It doesn't work. Your body is beautiful, our body is beautiful, it knows how to detoxify, given that we put in the right nutrients. So eating every 2 hours, it doesn't make sense, but if you do it, it's great. If you don't want to do it, that's great. This is just my opinion on it. Okay, moving on to water. Drink 2 to 3 liters of water every day. Again, ask, why do we need water? Okay, the body is made up of water majorly, correct. It's not water that nourishes your tissues. It's electrolytes. It's sodium, it's potassium, it's magnesium, it's calcium, it's chloride. You need electrolytes and not water for your body. Okay, you need electrolytes. Why do we need electrolytes? The very basic simple thing, you have sodium potassium pumps. Okay, the job of the pump is to keep the sodium outside, to get the potassium inside. There are approximately, if I'm not mistaken, 800,000 to 30 million sodium potassium pump inside every cell that generates electricity, that generates energy with the food that we eat. Understand? So it is the balance of these electrolytes that allows my cell to pull out the nutrients from the amino acids, from the fat, from the carbs that I eat. Okay, so if you have baseline issues with your cells, you are going to be fatigued, you are going to be lethargic, you are going to have hormonal imbalances. And understand, see, very simple. Okay, you need potassium, hydrogen potassium ATPase to acidify the stomach. Most people are acidic, or they are taking antacids, or they are on proton pump inhibitors, or they are on some kind of medication which naturally depletes the stomach acid levels. Now, if you're protein, okay, everyone is crazy after protein. That's like, you know, I need to do like a 60-minute video on protein. And when it comes to protein, you have to know it is broken down into amino acids. The acidity of the stomach triggers the enzyme that breaks down the protein. If in the first place you're compromised on the stomach acid level, the stomach acid level is not going to have any trigger for the enzymes to come and snip on the protein and break it down to amino acids. When you don't have amino acids, you cannot make neurotransmitters. When you cannot make neurotransmitters, you will have lack of dopamine, serotonin, oxytocin. When you have lack of these things, you will be given a label of depression, anxiety, ADHD. It could be, I'm not saying it's not, but have you corrected your gut health? Have you looked at your stomach? You have to look at the acidity, okay? You have to look at the balance between your gallbladder, your bile juice, your pancreas, your enzymes, your blood sugar, your blood pressure. It is the basic foundational health of these things that makes us or breaks us. So water, no, it's not about 2 to 3 hours, okay? Even with food, so my best thing is, yes, I believe in intermittent fasting. I believe in not eating post sunset, something that I believe in and I practice. So I don't eat post sunset. I will, so let's say today is Ekadashi, happy Ekadashi. So today I've been fasting. This is my 23rd, 24, 23 hours of fast right now. I have done it with water, so I had like 2 to 3 glasses because I felt thirsty. There are so many days when I've not done it and I've not even had water. I have already spoken about this, but your body can make metabolic water. So it's just brilliant, it's just beautiful. But of course, you have to do it safely. I listen to my own body, and if I need water, I will have water. If my body asks for food, which it is right now, I will go and eat food. So you just have to know that detoxification is real, but it cannot happen in presence of something. In presence of insulin, your body cannot detoxify. Every time you eat, you spike your insulin. You spike your insulin, your GH goes down. Your GH goes down, your glucagon goes down. You have to know there is no way your body can build and repair when it is struggling with insulin and balance of the blood sugar. It can do it 2 to 3 times in a day, like your maid. Your maid is okay working for 2 to 3 times, or for 2 to 3 work. You can't exhaust her. So it is the exhaustion that I am against, okay? So eating good 3 meals, 2 to 3 meals is beautiful, is brilliant, and you must do it. People who follow 1 meal a day diet, I am not a big fan, okay? Once in a while, here and there, once in a month, something that I would do would work, but I am not a fan, especially not for female body, because our hormones are changing every day. We are not like men that we have peak of testosterone and then it goes. We need a balance between estrogen, progesterone, cortisol, testosterone, pregnenolone, aldosterone, everything. We need a balance in these things. Cortisol, very important. We must eat correctly. We must eat mindfully. I am focused on prevention. I don't want you to wake up one day with PCOD, with thyroid dysfunction, with type 2 diabetes. Yes, we can fix it. Yes, we can reverse it. But why would you ever reach that place? I need you to stop before it's too late. So that's about water. And you need electrolytes for fluid retention, your electrolyte balance, for stomach acid levels. You need it for just all the basic functions. Like, I'm at loss of words. I'm like, what should I say? There is so much to speak about, but all the basic necessities, you need electrolytes and not just water. So always remember that, okay? After that, the last tip would be for exercise. People who overwork out and overexert themselves when it comes to exercising, okay? It is one of the biggest myths that, first things first, Don't work out if you have not slept correctly. Don't work out if you cannot recover correctly. Don't work out if your nutrition is not in check. Don't work out if you have a hormonal condition, so something like PCOD, thyroid, adrenal fatigue. If you have these kind of disorders, I don't recommend working out excessively, strenuously on your body. It creates a lot of stress when it comes to food, when it comes to exercise, intermittent fasting, intermittent way of working out. So the best way to work out has been high intensity interval training. This has been proven a lot of times and it really makes sense when I think about it. So HIIT workouts is great. It's amazing for your telomeres, which is a beautiful biomarker when it comes to health, the length of your telomeres. And when you exercise, when you do HIIT workouts, say 3 to 4 times per week, 40-minute session, and 40 minutes, I think 30 to 40 minutes was the session that they did the research work on, and it increases something known as telomere protein factor, which is TRPF2, and this enzyme can actually help you. So understand, if you have healthy telomeres, you will have great levels of no inflammation, you will have great strength, great energy, great body, great skin, great hair, and you would look according to your age and not older or more fatigued or tired. Okay, you will have the will to live life, and it comes down to these basic things. So there is something known as hormesis. Okay, you can search for this word. It's a brilliant factor that our body does. So basically what this means is a little bout of stress is good for body. So when you are doing HIIT workouts, you are stressing and exerting pressure on your body to push it to its extent, and then you bring it to rest. So this is what hormesis means. It means that small bouts of stress is great for your body, and in response to small bouts of stress, your body produces an even larger response of just counteracting its action and just creating a lot of more beneficial antioxidant kind of an effect. So let's say if I'm fasting and my body is producing free radicals, there is autophagy taking place, apoptosis taking place, and all of the senescent cells and all of the dead cells and debris and everything that my body does not need is being cleaned out and flushed out. This is great. Okay, and every cell has the capacity to generate your free radicals, and every cell has the capacity to generate antioxidants, which comes from the food that we eat. So again, you need your baseline of nutrients to even be in fasting. Otherwise your body does not has the fuel or the raw material to just do the cleansing or detoxification process. So it's very important to have your nutritional reserve. Okay, that is how fasting will become beautiful, and you can go a prolonged hour of fast without feeling low, lethargic, because your body has the fuel to back itself up. So short bouts of exercise will give you a higher range of antioxidants, higher range of healing, good recovery. There is something known as irisin. It is a very new hormone that has been found out when it comes to exercising, and it really helps with the metabolism of the body, and that also helps the telomeres health and its length. Okay, there is something known as P16, which is a marker for cellular aging, and it has been found out that people who do workout and people who do alternate between intermittent fasting and intermittent HIIT workouts or intermittent pattern of exercising, they have very, very low levels of P16. Okay, so this is what hormesis is. If I'm fasting for a shorter period of time, my body will not go into starvation mode. My body will be into fight mode, and it will fight the bad things and bad bacteria and every debris that my body does not need, every cell debris that my body does not need. That is the same drill with exercising. But when I do it chronically, my body shuts down because it now thinks that I'm not fasting, I'm starving. So there is a difference between fasting, and there is a difference between fasting and starvation. So when you are eating, so when you have haywire schedule, when आप कभी भी उठते हो, you eat food, then कभी भी सोते हो, कभी भी उठते हो, खाना खाया नहीं खाया, when you have irregular patterns of eating, living, sleeping and drinking, that is when you are not in hormesis. That is when you are into starvation and a very, very disease creating victim mode, because now your body is confused so as to what it is supposed to do and how is it supposed to react. Okay, so hormesis, it has to be done in a very calculative manner. Work on your nutritional reserve. Make sure you have good enough fuel and nutrients. get into intermittent fasting, get into intermittent patterns of working out. It's great for your skin, it's great for detoxification, it's great for inflammation, it's great for your health. And I am actually physically trying to, not overwhelm you with what I'm trying. So I'm just trying to hold back, and I want to make it very simple and basic for most people. But hormesis, intermittent fasting, intermittent exercise, not eating all day and not eating every 2 hours mostly, and drinking water, not because you have to drink 2 to 3 liters of water, but you want your electrolyte balance. That also comes from the quality of water. So I need you to pick these basics from this video, and I need you to apply it to your body and see how it works. At the end of the day, don't believe me, don't believe anyone else, but if you can practice a way of intermittent fasting, intermittent exercise and living, and see how it feels. If you feel great, amazing, continue doing it. If it doesn't work for you, maybe it's not for you, you will find something else. But most of the times I believe it's going to work if done correctly and you manage your stress and sleep. So I really hope this was not overwhelming and this helped you.